Are we live on YouTube? We're live on Facebook. This is the hardest part of the stream for me. I have to multitask, giving a nice introduction with also kind of copy and pasting this and posting this where it needs to go. My name is Jim Cipollini. Good to see you. I am a mental health coach here at Inner Solutions, working with people who are struggling with panic attacks, anxiety, and everything in between. And we're starting a bit early today because I'm jazzed. I'm so happy to be here. I really look forward to doing these live streams every single week. So it's an absolute gift. Anyone who visits your videos, see your live videos in the live tab. Yeah, show it on the page. Heck yeah. So yeah, how are you? So if you don't know, now you know how this works. It's this is a rolling Q&A. So I want you to feel comfortable sharing your stories, sharing your situation, sharing what's going on with you, asking your questions. This is a stigma-free zone. This is a safe zone. We do not tolerate any sort of judgment unless it's judgment about helping you with your mental health. And as far as that goes, my judgment is I'm pro that 100%. So just feel free to pop your hellos, where you from, what's been going on with you as far as anxiety-wise, what brought you to the page. Yeah, I want to know more about you and share your story. So I think we are good on this front. Perfect. My name is Jim Cipollini. I struggled for years with panic attacks, high anxiety. I am happy to say through a long process of working with different therapists, trying different medications, that not really working out for me, then really going on my journey, learning on my own about these different models of therapy, right? All those acronyms, the CBT, DBT, IFS, ACT, EFT. Well, I don't do EMDR, but, you know, because I can't. They won't let me. They won't allow me. I'm too of working with different. No, I don't know what it is. So yeah, so through that process, learning all these things, having some great teachers, having a great support system, was able to work through my panic, my anxiety, and then really pivoting into being able to make sustainable changes in my life. Some being lifestyle, some being behavioral, some being cognitive and emotional, and all that really working synergistically to bring me to a place where don't have panic attacks, don't struggle with high anxiety. And when I do have, anxiety, because everybody has anxiety, anxiety is a normal thing. In a heightened state, I'm able to disarm it and able to really unpack it and make something really great happen. So see, we got some people here. What's up, Rosales? How are you? Bonnie, what's up? What's up? Hey, Mom. Bonnie, I like your highs and I like your thumbs up. Willeen says, hi, Arkansas, and feeling very anxious for some reasons. Yeah, so Willeen, let's walk you through a little bit of a process. Think about how you feel towards the anxiety right now. So you've got some anxiety in your body, and how do you feel towards it? If you feel resistant to it, if you feel like, I just want it to go away, ask that to just kind of take a step back. Ask that to just kind of give you some space so you can feel curious, and then just feel it. Feel the physical sensations. Don't try to get rid of them. Just for a second, feel them. They're not going to take you over. They're not going to hurt you. They're not going to make you go crazy or lose control. And see what happens when you just stay present with it and feel it. And you observe that it's not just the anxiety, it's not the physical sensations that are triggering you. Actually, it's more the fact that you feel like you can't stop them. Or even more, the fact that you feel like you need to stop them right now. You don't. Just be in this experience of it with them. In fact, if anything, welcome it in. That may sound crazy, and that's okay, but just welcome it in. Oh, thank you so much. Bonnie says, so grateful for you and your program. I highly recommend and share with everyone. So guys, we do one-on-one coaching. We do teach a class. If you feel like you need more support, reach out to us on Facebook. You can message us on Facebook. There is a link in the description of the Facebook Live. that you can click on to set up a free call to learn more about our class or learn more about what we do, or just to point you in the right direction. What are some resources that might be useful for you? Yeah, I would highly recommend that. Yeah, absolutely. So let's open this up. I really feed off the synergy of people asking questions or sharing your stories. Don't be shy. Again, this is a stigma-free zone. We created this environment, this community, this live stream to be something that you can, somewhere you can share without any sort of judgment, any sort of shame. Yeah, and furthermore, it's like making sure that you put it, you getting the right information is imperative to leading your journey. Because while counselors, coaches, mentors, teachers, friends, family can support you, ultimately you're the one who has to become the great carpenter in using these tools, all these acronyms and all these ways to deal with the racing thoughts, to deal with the physical sensations. Yeah. And truthfully, we don't just deal with panic and anxiety. A lot of the one-on-one coaching turns into emotional healing, dealing with this trauma from the past, dealing with the behaviors of the present to understand how to shift them into being more intentional. So this is not just about anxiety and panic attacks. You can put anything you're going through. You may be suffering from a depressive episode. You may be feeling stuck at your job or stuck in a relationship or a city and you don't know how to get out. It's absolutely imperative. Absolutely imperative. Can't find that Facebook page. What Facebook page, Willeen? I'm not sure what you're saying. You're so welcome for your help, Willeen, but run that process over and over. Yo, what's up, Ashley? Good to see you, man. So glad you're here. So great. You've touched on so many good and relevant points and situations and techniques to deal with it all. Well, what's worked for you, Bonnie? Let's pivot into that. Share a little bit about you. What has worked for you? What are the things that we've shared that have resonated with you? Where have you found relief? It's important to know that this anxiety, it's 100% anticipatory. You're thinking about a future event that hasn't happened. It's definitely not happening now. And the event is never the worst part. It's always the anticipation of the event. So for example, I'm so scared about having a panic attack when I drive. I just can't do it. I can't drive because if I drive and have a panic attack, then I'll get in a horrible car wreck and whatever. And I've dealt with clients before where we talk about that and we say, well, what happened? And they say, well, I had a panic attack while I was driving. It was so scary. And I say, okay, well, what happened? What actually happened? Well, my heart started beating and I started thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack and I'm dying. And I said, well, so what are you scared of now? And they might say, well, I'm scared I'm going to have a panic attack and crash. They will back up. So you described the symptoms, you described the sensations in the car, but what actually happened? Well, I had this sensation. I had to slow. It was really, I thought I was going to die for and then what happened? Well, it went away. Well, did you crash? No. Did you feel like you were going to crash? No. What'd you do? Well, I just kept driving. I slowed my breathing down. I just was telling myself, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. And so let me get it straight. You had the worst case scenario happen and you handled it perfectly. And I start to think, shit. Yeah. I said, so why wouldn't you think that the next time that happens, the next time you have a panic attack, you'll do the same thing? In fact, now you'll do even better because we've been talking about strategies, you're prepared, everything like this. And it turns into, no. And it's all just kind of illusory. And that's what makes it so hard, is that the rational side of you knows, I'm fine. Not only am I fine, I know I'm not in danger, but the anxiety, it's so heavy. And it's not to invalidate your feelings, because the feelings are there, and they're extraordinarily heavy. But sometimes, and I love this framework, I like to think of anxiety. If, like, say there's something you have to do, I like to think of it as like a kid who's extremely scared of the car, but you have a dentist appointment. And so at first you try to disarm the kid. You know, it's a couple days before. You're trying to calm him down. Hey, it's going to be okay. It's all good. That's what you can do to yourself. Then as it gets closer, he gets a little more scared. So you're like, look, it's really going to be okay. Like, here's what we can do. Let's bring your toy to calm you down. Let's bring your favorite blanket. Let's bring some stuff to calm you down. Then you're like right at the point where you have to leave. And the kid's scared. He says, I can't do it. I'm not doing it. I'm going to my room. And the kid goes in the room. And you're like, yo, we need to go. We're going to miss this dentist appointment. And so eventually there comes a point with the kid where you know better. You know they're going to be fine. You know once he gets in the car, he's going to be okay. And so you kind of just take the kid, pick him up. You say, it's going to be okay. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you so much. And this is your anxiety. I'm sorry. I love you so much. I know this is scary, but we got to go. You put the kid in the car. You strap him in, and he's, no, please don't. Please don't. This is your anxiety as the kid. I don't want to. I can't do it. I can't do it. You turn the key. No. You put the car in gear. And you step on the gas, and it's like, you're going 15 miles an hour, but it feels like he's on a jet engine passing through the Earth's ozone layer. And then after a while, he's like, He gets a little more calm. His heart rate slows down. And you're just driving. His breathing slows down. He says, oh, this isn't such a big deal. That's exposure therapy. I like when you explain that it's all a feeling, and that if you take a few minutes to realize the feeling, acknowledging it, and then relax and regroup, things like that. I like when you explain that it's all a feeling, and that if you take a few minutes, Bonnie, I need some punctuation, please. No, I'm just kidding. I'm struggling with and that if you take a few minutes to realize the feeling, acknowledging it, and then relax and regroup, things like that. Okay, great. Pivotal point of my anxiety equals taking the pressure off. Yes, thank you for saying that. I love that you said that. And learning how to stop my feedback loop, and you helped me realize this, and ice packs. Yeah, that's so great. Ice, honestly, cold is one of the greatest things to stimulate that vagus nerve, the rest and relax response. It's a lot of R's, rest and relax response. So the ice packs were a genius idea. I loved it. It's really great. But and look, you did the work, man. I appreciate it. But you did the work. You're so fantastic. You should be so proud of yourself. And now it's different. It's a different animal to maintain that state, because truthfully, when you feel better, it's tempting to be like, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. Just leave it alone. Now it's time to dive in and explore. Now it's time to be like, well, what led me here? Where do I feel pressure? What are the relationships that aren't serving me? What are the behaviors I have that are rooted in anxiety? What are the beliefs I have? That takes some digging, man. That takes journaling. That takes exploration, not expiration. And so don't get complacent. Dive in. Don't get complacent. What's up, Boltsky? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. How's your heart today? There's no coffee in here. I don't know why I'm drinking it like there's. Also letting people know that different things work for different people. Sometimes box breathing or talking to someone as a sounding board. Yeah. So that's our thing, is that we got the shed. We got the shed full of tools. And we know how to use them. We could teach you to use them, but it's the right tool for the right person at the right stage of kind of their journey. 100%. Anissa. Is it Anissa or Anissa? I'm going to say Anissa. That's where I'm trying to get to, understanding that I'm not in danger, but the attack is so intense, it's hard to remember that. Yeah, Anissa, I mean, the whole thing about panic, the meme is, it's not that it feels better, it's that you become stronger. And that's what the wild part is once you stop fearing the panic attack, once you just let it happen, and you just know it's like a little, kind of like some gray clouds coming through, that they're gonna pass by. The sun will shine again. God, I think I had too much coffee today. That you're fine. You really are safe. So that's why we do that paradoxical intention. That's a fancy way of saying you do the opposite, right? So when you feel really scared, bring it on. Come on, panic. Take me out. Do it. Come on, make that heart go faster. Make my breathing harder. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's what you say to the panic. Oh, I love it. Bring it on. It really does work. Tara says, that's what I struggle with also. It's hard to remember that when you're in the middle of a of anxiety or a panic attack. Yeah, I mean, it's not comfortable. I wouldn't like choose to do that stuff, you know? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You can't really fight it. And if you end up fighting it, actually, that's what exacerbates the problem immensely. Yeah, immensely. Bonnie says, and letting everyone know it's going to be okay, and also sometimes you may need a different way of approaching anxiety and or panic attacks if your current method starts to not work. Yeah, 100%. So you got to understand through the journey, you're going to be evolving constantly. And so if your recipe needs to be tweezed, which is natural because you start feeling better, or maybe you change some circumstances because you know they were causing you anxiety. So now you're in more of a grieving stage than you are in an anxiety stage. That's the biggest thing I see a lot is like, let's say somebody's in a situation that's really harmful to them, a relationship, a job, a city they don't like. They take themselves out of the environment, yet there's still going to be some sort of tether, some sort of attachment to that situation or environment, or some sort of kind of auxiliary anxiety related to it. So for example, you switch jobs, right? Maybe you're making a little bit less money. So now you're worried about money. You miss your former coworkers, even though you were having panic attacks at the job, even though you know it's not right. Things are not black and white for the most part. It's very, very rare that we just feel 100% clarity on things. Sometimes we do. But that decision-making process, or the difficulty making hard decisions, is one of the key contributors to anxiety. Yeah. So it's really about the right key. So coming up with an exit strategy out of that job is one sort of tool that you could use to get out of it. Now, once you're out of the job, you don't need that exit strategies anymore. So now it's about grieving, allowing yourself to feel the loss, allowing yourself to look towards the future, practicing gratitude for the change, allowing your body to adapt. So maybe that's more, I need to be more compassionate with myself. I need to be more patient with myself. This is not going to be perfect. And, it varies in there. There's a lot of different dynamics in the journey of working through anxiety. Oh, Bonnie, I was just teasing you about the punctuation. Just teasing you. Tandra says, what's up, Tandra? Good to see you. That's what helps me, is knowing that it's just my body releasing adrenaline, so I just remind myself I'm just excited. Yeah, I love that, Tandra. Like I said, different things resonate with different people. I've told that strategy to clients before, and they're like, it does nothing for me. But it's true. If for you that triggers a sort of cognitive kind of redirection, where it's like, this is just adrenaline. This is literally my body reacting to adrenaline. This is exactly how I feel when I go to an exciting concert. This is exactly how I feel, when I'm with my friends and I'm dancing, or, I'm really laughing my ass off. Excuse my language. Sorry, Mom. Bonnie, the sun. William says, I'm late for class. I'll be back. Cool. Yeah. Hope you don't get a tardy slip. Wendy, what's up, Wendy? Hi, Jim. Hope you're having a good summer. Back at you, Wendy. I hope you're feeling calm, clear, peaceful, and just able to feel the joy of everyday life as much as possible. That feeling of joy is the byproduct of the hard work you've done. And guys, don't forget, you all deserve to feel great. You deserve to feel calm and collected, and to be present, and to feel just accepted and validated and peaceful. But know that you're not entitled to that, and that's more you at your core. And so investing in this sort of work, and it's not even done when your anxiety level goes down. That's something that you cultivate over time. A lot of the people that come through, and this was myself included, is I just didn't know how good I could feel. I really didn't. Like, I grew up pretty anxious but functioning, and that was my norm. And then when it really escalated, it was like, whoa, I need help. Bad. Then there was kind of the tumultuous period of figuring it out over 2 or 3 years, if not more. And then it was like, man, this is I just couldn't believe life could be so great. So don't stop. Don't stop once you start feeling better. Keep it up. And just know you all deserve to feel great, but it's not a right. It's not a right. You're not entitled to. It takes some work and calibration. And do you deserve to kind of be in the situation you're in? No, you don't. It's not fair. You didn't ask for it. It's not a punishment. At least that, in my opinion, it's not. So, but you have to take balanced ownership of it and accountability for. And the truth is, you guys are here, and so you've taken some steps, and that's awesome. So really celebrate that, and keep your eyes forward. Let's keep going. Bonnie, you're the queen of the emotes. I get anxiety, Joe says. Joe, my brother. I get anxiety when I go visit doctors. How can I control it? What's the nightmare belief under there, Joe? Like, there's a doctor's office, right? There's two questions. What's the nightmare belief there? And then number 2, where have you had painful or traumatic experiences in a doctor's office? And then 3, was there someone who was constantly in your life who was reinforcing the possibility of sickness or health problems, or talking about like bad health or sickness all the time in your life? Anissa, yeah, it literally feels like the scariest thing in the world. I just hate it. Wish it would go away. Maybe I can deal with it every once in a while, but every day, oh my God, it's exhausting and so debilitating. Yeah. People just who don't struggle with it just don't get it. They never would believe how intense and how debilitating anxiety is unless they see a partner with it. And even then, it's like they just don't get it. So the question on this is, what are you doing to make your situation better? I know you're here. What are some of your practices that you're using? That's a heavy question. What are you really doing to work at this? Do you have a pen and a paper in front of you? Do you have a Word document open? Are you taking notes? Are you writing down your regimen? Have you been reading the panic response plan? Are you on our YouTube page learning all you can about your situation? Are you limping along, struggling? And I'm not saying just you, Anissa. This is kind of the archetypal Anissa, the universal, everyone who's struggling. Really, what are you doing? You know? When I don't work out, when I don't eat right, when I don't surround myself with people that nourish me, when I don't get outside, when I don't meditate, when I don't do the things I love, when I avoid, I feel off too. We got to take a long, hard look and say, well, shoot. Yeah. What's up, Felicia? Hi, Felicia. Good to see you. How's it hanging? How are you doing? How's the anxiety? Accountability, I love it. Accountability, I love it. Yeah, so I mean, it's almost like counteracting what's happening and finding the balance. Yeah. If you're someone who you know and you feel it's too hard on yourself, start to do that neural retraining, man. Start to shift in the new beliefs and the new thoughts. Compassion. Grace. That's a word that has been used. I never understood what that word really meant until lately. Grace. Grace to me is like compassion. Grace. It's a beautiful word. Heard it all the time growing up. Never understood what it meant. Grace. I don't show myself enough grace. I don't show myself enough compassion and patience. I don't show myself enough, positive words, great affirmations. Yeah. Show yourself some grace, man. And grace is not complacency. Grace is not laziness. No. You balance grace with clarity, firmness, action. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Can you hear the birds in the background, by the way? I love it. I love it. I'm trying to learn what some of the themes. Okay. I am saying your name right. Perfect. Bonnie says, being patient with myself. I love it. And learning how to cope and redirect. There's other really powerful tools. I mean, let's talk about some of them right now. Visualization. Posture change. Let's all do this. Sit up straight, kind of puff out your chest, put your shoulders back, put your chin up. Feel how much that changes your energy. Don't try to get rid of the anxiety if you feel it right now. Don't try to slow down your heart. Don't try to change your thoughts. Just hold this posture physically. It's just a different energy. It's like I can feel. Oh, it's amazing. All of us at our core are incredibly clear, confident, accepting, connected, courageous. These are all the IFS words. I love it. Anissa says, honestly, this is my first time in 31 years dealing with this. I've been dealing with it for 3 months now, so it's new to me. I'm doing so much research every day. I'll do anything except take meds. I don't want to get on them. What are some things I can do physically or eat to work towards getting better? I love it. There's a ton you can do in this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share the link to our book, The Panic Response Plan. It's an ebook and an audiobook. You can, that's a link to buy it. Hold on. Let me get, hold on 1 second. Okay. Where is it? Here we go. Excuse me. So it's a Google Drive folder. You'll find a bunch of sound files in there. Start at number 1. There's a whole section called de-stimulating your nervous system. But let's go over some of the key stuff. And let me do a little addenduming because there is more that we have to update in version 2. Physically, number 1 is exercise. Now, the caveat with exercise is it may trigger some of the sensations, the physical sensations that start your feedback loops. So your heart will be beating harder. You'll be obviously breathing heavier. So that can trigger that, like, oh my God, I can't breathe. Oh my God, I'm having a heart attack, panic response. So we go by the phrase, do what you can. Like, that's our mantra. Just do what you can, but triple what you think you should be doing. So let's say you're going to go, I can go for like a 20-minute walk every day. Go for 3 20-minute walks every day. Like, the more you kind of burn it out of your system, the better. Find exercises that you can do. If you can exercise, high intensity interval training is great because actually it's training your mind, it's not just training your body to exercise, it's also training your mind to exercise and then stop and then to be able to start again. And the start again is really huge because that mimics the necessary skill of regrouping when you have a hard day or a hard hour or a hard 10 minutes. Regrouping. So you work really hard, you stop, you get your heart rate down, and then you start again. And then you stop, and then you start again, and you stop, and you start again. And it's a really, really great sort of representation of that need for the regroup. So exercise. As far as diet, there's a few key things. And we're not just talking food, we're talking media, we're talking relationship diet, we're talking environment diet, where you spend your time. We're basically trying to de-stimulate our nervous system. So getting rid of stimulants. So let's talk on like a food and substance sense. So like caffeine, nicotine, sugar, sometimes really spicy foods or sharp foods like garlic or raw onions you may want to cut back on. They're stimulants to your system. And this is all temporary. Once you're in a better state, you can kind of reintegrate this stuff slowly but surely. Really sourcing healthy, organic foods, sourcing really great grass-fed meats, free-range chickens, free-range eggs, organic eggs, high-sourced meat without the additives. I also would encourage you to, if you feel like there's a food you may be allergic to or maybe having kind of a negative physical reaction to, that you do some sort of elimination diet for at least a month. So like get rid of dairy for a month, get rid of gluten for a month, stick to just raw foods. There will be sort of a transition period that can be difficult. Or there may be a transition period. Obviously no sodas, sugar and caffeine, we don't need that. So physically or eat. So also with eating is like high magnesium, leafy greens, kale, spinach, chard. Magnesium is amazing for anxiety. High protein, high fat breakfast. So that's like eggs and avocado, really well sourced bacon and eggs. Nuts are fantastic. Healthy fats are brain food. Fish is great. And again, everything just with an emphasis on highly sourced. And then with media, it's like no stimulating media. Stimulating media can be super addictive. So we're talking like careful of the news, careful of social media, scrolling on Facebook or Instagram to those people that you just are pissed off at, or maybe you're a little jealous of. That's just stimulating in a non-productive way. So de-stimulating. Remember, we're de-stimulating. And then as far as relationships, it's the same thing. So particularly we're looking for friends or people that just drain you, that you feel like you have to put a persona on, that you can't be in your own energy, that give you unsolicited advice to just snap out of it, things like that. Not so serving to you, Anissa. Environments. Maybe you're in a city that you hate, or maybe you're at a job that you can't stand, or that it's too stimulating for you. If anything, I would come up with an intelligent exit strategy, something that's not super short term. Maybe it's like medium term. So maybe you're talking about, how do I get out of this job in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, 6 months? And once you see that you're not stuck, a lot of times your system starts to calm down. Like, okay, I'm not stuck. Like, I'm really okay. Yeah. And that's great. So it's really what we're doing is we're retraining our brain. We're retraining our thought patterns. The ones that are kind of stuck in like, I have to do this, or this is what the only thing I can do, or I'm powerless here, or whatever. And it's like, especially as adults, we've been doing stuff for so long, many of us, that we forget there's other possibilities. It's become so ingrained in our habits to people please, to avoid confrontation, to minimize ourselves, to not share, to isolate ourselves, to not say what's on our mind, to not look people in the eye, to not face the things we need to face, to avoid tough situations, to stay in our comfort zone. Staying in our comfort zone, that's the big one. That's what really locks you down when you struggle with anxiety, staying in your comfort zone. Short term, really short term, it's a healthy thing to be able to have a comfort zone, a safe zone to be able to recharge. Medium and long term, it becomes a prison. This is why you see in relationships people put up walls. This is why you see all sorts of stuff like that. People stay at dead-end jobs. People start to lose their energy, start to lose their vigor. Start to feel like just beaten down, jaded. It's happened to me. Hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. We're evolving creatures, my friend. We're always going to evolve. A lot of times the anxiety is your kind of body's way of giving you feedback like, hey, something ain't working anymore. It's not necessarily stress. Anxiety is more worry than it is stress, much more worry. But it's also, anxiety can really be a lack of comfort in control. I need to be in control. I can't control the situation. I can't go with the flow. I can't trust that things will be okay. And I'm there with you. We're wired to see patterns to keep us safe. Our brain is meant to point out the threatening things. But that can easily spark out of control. And this is available on demand on the Facebook page, as with all the live streams. But check out the panic response plan. It's in the comments under the inner solutions. I put it up right above David Chambers. That's a handsome name, David Chambers. That's like presidential. Mary Ray, what's poppin'? How are you? You sell me that Corolla. I have to screen record this. I can't remember it all. I will go over this every day. It might work for me. Well, yeah, Anissa, the physical stuff is great, but that's like one piece. We hit it on the physical, the cognitive, the emotional. That's just the physical. One can help lead the others, but they have to work synergistically. The physical is not going to override, overshadow, take over the cognitive. Those intrusive, obsessive thoughts that are so common and overwhelming with anxiety. And anxiety. No, Mary, I bought a Camry. Not very sexy, but it was on brand for what I'm trying to do financially. So, I struggled with anxiety this weekend in a way. I got totally manic into having to pick out a car, and my girlfriend was just like, dude, you got it. Your energy is just way too much right now. You got to chill out. And she's so great. But yeah, I went way overboard. And I recognized it. And the truth is, I didn't even get anything done until I was able to regroup, recharge, re-engage. What's up, Nikki? How are you? What's poppin'? And this, it's a struggle, man. I mean, and it's nice. Good for you, Nikki. It's a struggle, like, no doubt. And the meme is like, people who say just snap out of it, it's like, oh, nobody wants to snap out of this more than me. Like, nobody wants to snap out of this more than this guy. But it's like, you guys aren't on the same vibration. You're not on the same level, man. This just is what it is. And that's just those people. And that's okay. They don't have to get it. But man, I wouldn't wish those struggles onto anybody. It's brutal. Brutal. Other physical things you can do, Anissa. Sensory soothing tools, great smells. Smell is always number one. I don't spray this because I'm anxious. I spray it because I love it. But just having like a really great essential oil or a candle near you. And then everything like calming music as a way of soothing. Distraction is great in the short term. Yeah. Yeah. We shot a video because, one of the most common stories we heard is that sometimes when people are really struggling, that's all they can talk about is the anxiety. Because you tend to talk about the thing that's most prevalent in your life. If you're struggling with anxiety a lot, that's what you share. And that can isolate people. Yeah. So that makes it even doubly hard because not only are you anxious, but now you're starting to feel lonely. Now you're starting to feel guilty. Now you're starting to feel ashamed. And it's just oftentimes those clusters of emotions that are just too much. Yeah. Do you guys, let me ask you guys this. We're revamping, getting back on the YouTube train here because we have about 90 videos. We got to keep shooting more. Is there any topics specifically or techniques specifically you'd love to see a YouTube video about? Like if you were the boss and say, shoot, I want to hear more about this, or I want to know more about this, what would it be? Help us out. Give us some feedback. All the feedback we get for the most part is really positive. Give us some negative. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Tell us where we suck, please. No. But what would you like some YouTube videos on? And here's one thing I would encourage you guys to do is, how about if you feel like it, if you feel like you've been working through some of the process, if you feel like you've been getting traction, shoot a YouTube video. We'll put it up on our site. Success stories or even just struggle stories. Probably gear it more towards success stories, even if it's not like, hey, I'm totally out of it, but I'm 15% better. It's incredible. I feel 15% less anxiety. That's really powerful, man. Really powerful. Look at Nikki. Nikki won't mind me saying she came to our class for a long time. Was stuck. And now she comes here today and she says she traveled. It's like, hell yes. Like, yes. That's as real as it gets. Someone who's just overwhelmed. Keep showing up. Keep sticking with it. And then has something tangible that maybe she thought she'd never do again, or maybe just couldn't imagine it. And then it's just like that. I traveled. And I'm really, really proud of you and happy for you. And I just want you to wear a badge that says bad ass on it. Anxiety badass. ABA. Because that's as real as it gets. That's as heavy as it gets. You can make a bunch of money. You can get a promotion. You can get married. You can buy a car. You can buy a house. But that's some deep-seated warrior stuff. There's so much hope. So much hope. We hear it all the time in our classes. Like, people are at all different stages. They start at different stages. They evolve. It's so cool to watch them. And then, like for me, clients leave because they feel better. It's like, thank you. Great. How to quit feeling guilty about everything. I love that. How to shut off my mind when I try to get to sleep at night. You definitely can't shut off your mind, but we can. It's all about alleviating the pressure. Success stories. I love it. Yeah. Well, let's unpack guilt. What is guilt? What is guilt? Let's look up the definition of guilt. The fact of having committed a specified or implied offense or crime. That's okay. Make feel guilty, especially in order to induce them to do something. Well, I don't know if the problem is guilt or irrational thinking. And I don't mean irrational in a judgmental way. I mean irrational in a internal conflict kind of way. So let's look at guilt and what's related to guilt. Guilt is it's in the neighborhood of shame, or it's related to shame, in that guilt can often lead to shame. I'm ashamed I did something. I feel bad I did something. Ultimately, guilt is rooted in a high level of sensitivity, right? So there's two ways to deal with guilt. One is you did something wrong and you apologize about it. Now, if that's not where it goes and ends, now we're getting into managing sensitivity realm. High level of sensitivity, HSPs, highly sensitive people. That's all of us, by the way, in this place. Everyone here, I think, would agree that we're all really sensitive. We're sensitive people. Maybe we're attuned to people. Maybe we grew up in a household where we had to see the state of our father because maybe he was mad. And so we got really, really sensitive to reading signs and being connected with people. Maybe we had a depressed mother that we had to be really attuned to bring her up to feel like she could function. We carried that burden. So the question is, why carry these burdens for other people? What is the guilt rooted in, Mary Ray, if you don't mind me asking? Would you be willing to share that? And if not, that's okay. What is the guilt rooted in? Because again, now we're in the realm of sensitivity management. Ultimately, the cure for guilt is self-forgiveness. And so if there's a lack of being able to let go of guilt, there's a lack of, or just an inability to forgive thyself. And guilt can become a habit. Guilt can definitely be learned and become a habit, especially in like highly religious situations. And so just neural retraining. Retraining the mind, retraining the body. Yeah. So we got these different pieces, right? We've got the mismanaged sensitivity. We've got the self-forgiveness. And inside there, we've got self-shame. It's heavy. That's a lot of what depression is rooted in, if not all of it. Self-shame. I suck. I'm ashamed of myself. I don't deserve to take up space. I should be the one suffering, not anybody else. I should not ever cause any inconvenience to anybody else ever. We would say that's distorted thinking. It's impossible to live life and not inconvenience someone else. You standing in line at the grocery store is inconveniencing somebody else. They have to wait for you, although it's fair. Then it's like, well, where's the line of fair inconveniencing others? And then where's the line of I should feel guilty? What's up, Katrina? How are you? Good to see you. So you can start with simple affirmations. It's okay to take up space. It's okay for me to impact somebody else. You can write on paper all the good things you do and all the things that cause you to feel guilty. See if they outweigh themselves. See if it's reasonable for somebody to be doing what you're doing. But I would say it's that sensitive part of you that everything has to be right when it comes to interactions. Get in touch with that part of you. Why? Yeah, it's nice to want everything to be right, but that inability to control is almost impossible. It's not possible. You'll never control everything. So therein lies grace. The word of the day, grace. Ah, remember Pee-wee's Playhouse? Ah, grace. Or Ferris Bueller, grace. Anybody remember that? Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Grace. It's the best. Right? Nobody remembers that? But that's the word of the day, is grace. I'll check it out. Grace.
Grace! I can give you every assurance, Mr. Rooney, that Ferris is home and he is very ill. In fact, I debated whether or not I should even leave him. Grace!
I'm saying, he's saying it. Grace. All right, I don't know, we didn't really need to do that, but technology's cool. Grace. That's what I'm saying. Give yourself grace. God gives you grace, right? Grace shares grace with you. Grace. Ennis's mom says, when I'm looking at your chat, I feel much better. I sleep good. You know, your son works for the company. Ask him for some pointers, too. He's a pretty smart kid. So this is mom. That's so great. Mateus says, my depressed friend told me it's better for us to stop talking and asked me to stop texting her because she thinks she's toxic, and that's why she hasn't been talking to anyone. What should I do? It's tough, Mateus. My depressed friend told me it's better for us to stop talking because she's toxic. So, Mateus, like, there's one of two things going on. Either she's trying to not hurt your feelings by saying she doesn't want to talk to you, but more than likely she's struggling with just those self-shaming thoughts. So you got a kind of a decision to make, man. Can you be extraordinarily patient with her? Can you allow her to kind of dictate where your relationship goes and have her take up a lot of the space? Because sometimes with somebody with depression who's stuck in that sort of loop, it feels like the closer someone gets, the more toxic and shameful they feel. So the comfort level is that you give space sometimes. So really what you can do is try to reassure her, be as patient as possible with her, and really honor how it affects you. Meaning that if it's something that starts to kind of take over your life, figure out where your boundaries are, man. Figure out where your boundaries are. That's for darn sure. When it starts to impact you in a really great way, in a large way, and you just can't handle it, just let her know, hey, I love you, but I'm having a hard time with this today. But I love you so much. And take your breaks, recharge. Yeah, well, tell her that. Share that with her. But ultimately, you can't dictate her trajectory, man. So just reassurance. Part of why she'll do that is it may also be related to like an attachment wound where she's used to people abandoning her, leaving her. So she kind of might push you away. And so just do what you can to help her feel secure. If you really feel grounded in, you can handle this and maybe go on a little bit of the roller coaster ride with her. And you can just tell her, be straight with her. It's like, just let her know, like, hey, I'll tell you what, when it gets hard for me, I'll let you know. When I need space, I'll totally let you know. But I don't need space right now. Actually, I feel great. I feel loving towards you. I feel grateful for our relationship. 100%. With mental illness, patience is a must-have. No doubt. Yeah, Katrina, I agree. Patience is a must-have for everything. And grace. It's grace. 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 I should put that in my stream deck so I can hit that. You got to have some grace. You got to have grace. You got to have some
peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love from Ringo Starr. Peace and love. Says Ringo Starr. Cool, man. Well, I love it. I want to wrap this up. What's up, Ann? We're just wrapping up. But this is available on demand on the Facebook page at all times. Let me make all these announcements. Guys, if you are wanting more support, if you are wanting to look into some one-on-one coaching with us or to join our class, you can message us here on Facebook. We have open enrollment. Class works on like a 16-week cycle. We have partial scholarships available as well if the typical 45 a week is too much for you. And we work on the honor system as well. If you want to support us, there are some other ways that are coming up. If you don't think the class is right for you, and we'll talk about that in the upcoming weeks. I'm so grateful for you guys, and just really want to reinforce that no matter how long this has been going on for you, no matter how stuck or lost you feel, no matter how hopeless you are, no matter when it hits, no matter how intense, you're never, ever stuck. You just need some support. We all do. You need the right information. You need the right community. And you need the right people. With that, I'm Jim Cipollini. Thank you guys so much. If you need anything, message us here on Facebook. Email me at jim@innersolutions.academy. Lots of love and good mental health. Thanks, guys.